Welcome to the month. And I'm really excited about talking to you this month. We are always talking about all of the big visions and getting there in our life. And what would you love to do as your ultimatum if, and we're building up and manifesting. So this month, I really want to focus on all the little steps that it takes to get there. So it's the small steps with clear intention, and I'm going to call it the art of building creative momentum. So this month is all about momentum. It's all the little things in life that moving your work 1 inch at a time, taking your business 1 step at a time, and it is just really called momentum. So this is going to be really fun, and what I want you guys to do is think of this as a meditation. Go ahead and get yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, relax, kick back, put your earbuds in if you want to, and just take a breath and breathe. And I just want to talk to you about the way we can do all the little small steps in our life and the pieces and parts that we need to get there. Okay. Imagine a silversmith in the early morning light, gently heating a piece of silver. The workshop is quiet except for the rhythmic tap, tap, tap of her hammer. Each strike is small, hardly changing the metal at first glance, but with each steady tap, the form begins to emerge. This is the quiet power of the small, steady steps. In creative work, momentum is built in these humble, persistent actions. A great sculpture is carved chip by chip. A painting is stroke by stroke. A song, note by note. No masterpiece springs fully formed in an instant. It is born of accumulated moments. The daily practice, the repeat effort, and the faithful showing up to do the work even though inspiration feels so distant. As the Spanish painter Pablo Picasso famously said, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Inspiration is a divine spark, but it arrives more readily when we are already at the task building momentum. When you show up regularly in the studio, at the bench, before the blank page or canvas, you invite inspiration to visit you. The mere act of beginning, of taking one small step forward, generates a momentum of its own. One line leads to the next, one idea sparks another. Over time, these modest little efforts gather like a snowball, rolling downhill and growing with each rotation. Momentum turns the tiny daily acts into significant leaps of progress, almost without you even realizing it. Why is momentum so crucial for creative process? First, momentum overcomes inertia. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, and sometimes our creativity can feel inert if we haven't practiced it in a while. But an object in motion tends to stay in motion. So when you get started, even in the tiniest of ways, it's easier to keep going. Many artists have observed that consistent work breeds more ideas and more energy. And the renowned painter Chuck Close put it bluntly, inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work. All the best ideas come out of the process. They come out of the work itself. So in other words, don't wait for lightning to strike. Begin with a tiny strike of your hammer, a tiny stroke of your brush, and let the process reveal the ideas. Momentum creates a fertile ground for creativity. The very motion of working generates ideas, solutions, and discoveries that static dreaming never would. Remember the old fable of the tortoise and the hare? The swift hare sprints ahead, but loses focus, while the slow tortoise keeps a steady pace and ultimately wins the race. In the creative journey, we're often the tortoise, Slow and steady truly wins the race. By taking small, consistent steps, you eventually cover great distances. Each day's little progress might seem insignificant alone, but once you string them together, you have your journey. Small steps compound into bigger leaps over time. This is how a beginner becomes a master craftsperson, not overnight in a burst of genius, but through daily practice and incremental improvement. Picture a medieval cathedral being built. Generations of artisans laying one stone at a time. They likely never got to see the final glory of the cathedral being complete, yet their day-by-day contributions created something monumental that lasted for centuries. Your creative projects may not take centuries, but the principle is the same. Brick by brick, brushstroke by brushstroke, you are building something worthwhile. Every small effort is a prayer of intention and a vote for your passion. Momentum is the bridge that carries you from where you are now into the realization of your vision. The intention. So let me talk to you about intention. I consider intention as the artist's guiding star. While momentum keeps you moving, intention is the compass that ensures you're moving in a meaningful direction. Working with intention means infusing purpose and mindfulness into your whole creative process. It's asking yourself, why am I creating this? What do I want to express or explore with this? How do I want this piece to feel? Intention is the heart behind the art, the quiet force that shapes every direction of every stroke, every note, or every design decision. When you create with clear intention, your work gains depth and coherence. So it resonates more strongly because it's coming from a place of purpose, not just by accident or a whim. So consider a potter shaping clay. If her intention is to craft a vessel that brings peace to whoever holds it, she will move her hands differently while she's working. When she might move it more gently, more thoughtfully than if she was just randomly playing with mud. The intention becomes embedded into the finished piece. Viewers or users of that piece may feel something special without even knowing why. That is the power of intention that is shaping art. It guides the maker's hands and imbues creation with meaning that can be sensed by others. History and tradition gives us beautiful examples of intentional work in art. Many indigenous and spiritual forms, creators begin with a prayer or a ritual. For example, a Navajo weaver might weave blessings into a rug, or an icon painter from an Orthodox monastery might pray before mixing pigments. Such practices are not superstitious. They are ways of centering the mind and focusing the heart on the purpose of your work. When you take a moment to set an intention, you align your creative energy with your values and emotions. You're not just making something, you're making something that matters to you. And so intention can be as grand as a message to change the world or as personal as an emotion that you need to express today. It could be, I want to honor my grandmother's memory in this design here, or I want to explore the concept of freedom with these colors, or even I want to bring joy to myself by planting these ideas into this pattern. So there's no wrong intention, except perhaps not to have any at all. Working without an intention can leave you feeling hollow or lost, even if you're productive. It's like sailing without a North Star. You might cover a distance, but where are you headed? When momentum, the act of consistently working, is paired with clear intention, which is knowing the purpose and feeling behind the work, a kind of creative alchemy occurs. The whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Momentum gives you the quantity of a practice and exploration. Intention gives you the quality of meaning and direction. So together, they lead you to a very fulfilling process, not just making more art, but making more meaningful art. You start to see your voice emerge in your work because you're deliberately infusing yourself and your intentions and your heart into every single thing that you're creating. So another benefit, intention can sustain you on the days when your motivation wanes. If you deeply remember why you create, you can push through the tough moments. For instance, if your intention is to bring beauty to others or to express a truth that's inside of you, then even when a piece isn't going well or when you feel tired, reconnecting to that intention can reignite your dedication. It provides an emotional anchor. So you might say, this is hard right now, but I'm doing it with the intention to bring myself joy or to put peace out into the world. You can fill in your own core reason why, and that is a reminder that fuels you and gives you perseverance. Think of intention as the soul in the machinery of your art. Momentum is the machinery with the gears turning, the hands busy, and intention is the soul, the spirit that animates those gears with love and meaning. The great poet once wrote, the great poet Rumi once wrote, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you that leads to joy. That river moving in you, that joy, is what you feel when your intention is aligned to your actions. We sometimes call this as artists flow, being in the flow. So, what could be a daily practice exercise that can help you build momentum? How can you as an artist or a silversmith or a creator of any kind cultivate momentum in a practical way? The answer lies in a daily practice. And I'd like to offer a simple but powerful exercise. And this is a challenge, in fact, that can help you build a steady creative habit. This exercise is about consistency over intensity, process over product. It's a goal to get you moving every day, even in a small way, and to keep that momentum rolling forward. Remember, as a choreographer, Twyla Tharp advises, creativity is a habit, and the best creativity is a result of good work habits. In other words, creativity and a daily habit, and it will reward you with growth and ideas. So, I want to talk to you about a 30-day creative momentum challenge. And the reason I picked 30 days is this is 30 days in our month. I want to give you six different ideas on how to create this creative momentum. And so the first one that I want you to start with is, and I'll have this information below, so you can you'll be able to see this below, written out for you. Choose a tiny daily task. So you want to pick a small creative action that you can do every single day. Make it so small that it's almost laughable. Make it so easy just to get started. For a silversmith, it might be just hammering out a tiny decorative element or sketching a quick jewelry design. For a painter, it may be a 5-minute sketch or mixing a new color up that you haven't used before. For a writer, it's just maybe marking down a few sentences in a journal. The key is that it should be something that you can realistically do every day, even on your busiest or least inspired day, with no exceptions. So you want to tell yourself, give yourself 10 minutes every day to do a super simple task like that. And 2, the second step is set a regular timer or a trigger for yourself. Attach this to a daily task or something in your routine to anchor it. It could be first thing in the morning, could be during your lunch break, right before you normally relax in the evening. Consistency is easier when it's tied to an existing habit or a regular time. So tell yourself every day in the morning after coffee, I'm going to spend 10 to 15 minutes at my workbench doing this small, tiny little project. Or maybe before I go to bed, I'm just going to sketch out some ideas. But you want to treat this as an appointment with yourself, with your creative self, and this will help grow your creativity. Number 3, focus on the process and not on the results. I say that all the time because when you do the task each day, you want to release expectations of producing something good. Some days you'll like what you made, some days you won't, but both ways are fine. The point is that you're doing and not the outcome. If you'd hammer a piece of scrap silver into a weird shape that doesn't work, or painted a study that looks off, it doesn't matter. You showed up and you added another link to your chain of momentum. It's all about the momentum. Make sure you congratulate yourself because as the great artist Vincent van Gogh wrote, I keep on making what I can't do yet in order to learn to be able to do it. We're all like that. That's what it takes. In practice, that means allowing yourself to make awkward, imperfected things as a stepping stone to improvement. Every imperfect action is teaching you something and keeping your momentum going. That's all it is. Number 4, document or reflect on your whole process. It can be encouraging to keep a simple log on a daily practice. You might put an X on the calendar each day that you completed this small little tiny task. Don't break the chain technique, or just jot down a note in a journal about what you did and how you felt. This is optional, but this really, really helps you to stay on track and remind you that you're making progress. It's always nice to put check marks on there, even if it's invisible in the moment. After a week or 2, you'll have visual proof of your consistency, a streak of days that will motivate you to continue. And it's so satisfying not to break that streak. Number 5, adjust if necessary, but make sure to stay consistent. Life happens, right? If you find the task too hard or time-consuming, scale it down further rather than skip it. It's absolutely okay to modify it. For instance, if 15 minutes is too long, maybe just do something super simple for 5 minutes a day. The crucial part is the daily continuity. That's it. However, guard against your mind's trick that's going to want to make excuses. So intention comes into play here. Remind yourself of why you committed to this practice. Perhaps your intention is, I want to improve my craft, or I want to feel creatively alive every day. Just keep that in your heart, what powers you through any resistance, and you'll be able to keep moving forward. And number 6, review your journey. So at the end of your 30 days, this is always good to see where you started and take a look at where you're ending and see even how the tiny daily acts have added up. Maybe you've got a collection of doodles that can inspire you into bigger pieces, or a bunch of small silver components that could be put together on a necklace. It's a newfound ease in sitting down to work. So you want to make sure that you celebrate this after 30 days. And it's a template that you can return to anytime you want to. This really helps you to take all those tiny steps at a time. You've cultivated the habit of creation. Through this daily practice, you will likely notice a shift in yourself. Initially, forcing yourself to do even the tiny task each day might feel challenging, but soon you'll find it becomes more natural. Even something you look forward to as a comforting ritual, it just becomes comfortable. That momentum starts to take hold, and just like a musician who drills scales every day finds eventually that skipping a day off, you will too feel the momentum carrying you. You want to keep going. Steady practice builds creative muscle. Over weeks and months, you'll see your growth, your skills sharpening, and your ideas that are flowing easier. Your confidence will start growing, and perhaps most importantly, you will have built trust in yourself. Trust that you can rely on your own commitment and the process to carry you through creative droughts or drafts and doubts, to be able to get through these creative blocks. So in conclusion, to move forward with purpose, all of those little steps, you want to work hand in hand with momentum and intention. So you want to think of two of these working together on your creative journey. So momentum is the steadiness that carries you forward each day, and the intention is the shining star that guides your way. When you nurture both, you create a powerful synergy. You move and you move meaningfully. You grow not only in your skill, but in understanding of yourself and your art. So, in the days or weeks ahead, you may face moments of doubt or weakness, and perhaps you'll hear a small voice in your head that says, hey, just stay in bed today or skip today, it won't matter. Or what's the point of all this effort? You want to remember that those are just clouds passing in the sky or your mind. Beyond them, your guiding star of intention still shines brightly. In the habit of momentum you're building, it will carry you through if you trust it. On those days, just think of the tortoise, slow but unwavering. Just take one more small step and try to recall why you started it all. The joy it brings, the messages that you want to share, the people you would inspire, or simply the way working with your hands that makes you feel alive. That's your intention, your why. So hold it close and let it fuel you. Every creative great started exactly where you are right now, at the beginning of a path, unsure, taking small steps along the way. Even Michelangelo, and he's quoted as humbly admitting, if people knew how hard I had to work to gain my mastery, it would not seem so wonderful at all. So even the masters knew that steady work was not magic. It was the secret behind their achievements. They labored day by day, often in obscurity, slowly chiseling their vision into reality, their passion carried by momentum, and their hands guided by intention. All of these small steps get you there. Now, it's your turn. So regardless of your skill level, how old or young you are, where you are in your life, how much money that you have a creative spark that the world needs. I promise you that. By tending to that spark each day, shielding it with intention, and feeding it with the kindling of your daily work, you will watch it grow into a warm and steady flame. So imagine what would happen if you devoted yourself to a small, purposeful acts every day from here on out. A year from now, you'll look back in awe at the distance those tiny steps covered. You'll not just have a body of work to show for it, but a journey, a story of personal growth and of dedication. So, I leave you with this uplifting call to action. Start now. Start with small steps. Whatever is possible today, sketch a new idea on a scrap paper, practice a technique for a few minutes, organize your tools, and do it with your heart full of intention. Commit to nurturing your momentum tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and embrace the process, however modest it may seem each day. Set your guiding star, because that's your intention, each morning or whenever you begin, and follow through with it with your creative work. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfect timing or divine inspiration. As of this moment, give yourself permission to create freely and as imperfect as you want. Trust the inspiration will join you along the way as long as you keep going. Your creativity is a gift to be protected fiercely, a light that only you can shine, but it requires you to keep the lamp burning. Tonight or tomorrow, when you face your blank canvas or your lump of silver, your sheet of silver, or whatever medium you're going to craft with, take a deep breath and remember, every great journey begins with a single step, and every inspired masterpiece with a single intentional act. You have both the feet to take that step and the heart to imbue it with meaning. Take that step, then another and another, and never stop moving forward with your purpose and intention. Now, go forth and create, boldly, steadily, one day at a time. The world eagerly awaits the art that only you can make. Your momentum will carry you there, and your intention will light the way. Keep going, keep creating, and keep believing in the quiet, unstoppable power of your own small steps.